Minutes past 6 in the morning. You're listening to 96.3 Nation FM. That is if you're in Nairobi, 93.9 in Meru, 102.7 in Eldoret, and 102.1 in Kisumu. My name is Mariam Bishar.
Most bankable host Brian Aseli. We're still on the newspapers and we're looking at some of the stories making the headlines right now. You can actually go into our e-paper and get some of the latest stories because Sababu, we are on authority when it comes to news and all things. Hey. Current affairs. Mina Kombia, speaking of current affairs, you need to look at this one. Why top U.S. trade official refused to meet Kuria?
So visiting U.S. Trade Representative Catherine Tai cancelled 2 scheduled meetings with vocal Trade and Investment CS Moses Kuria over the latter's nasty public tirades and social media posts against individuals and organizations the nation has established. There's a full story on that on page 8. This is not the first or second or third time that Moses Kuria's tongue has gotten him in trouble. He's been in trouble with the ethics and with the
EACC?
not the EACC, the National Cohesion and Integration Commission, over things that were considered borderline hate speech. He's been in, I don't know, so many times, and it's like, ideally, we should be doing our work quietly in the corner. But there's a full story on page 8 exactly that talks about why the U.S. official refused to meet Moses Kuria. That was Ambassador Catherine Tice, and she labeled this trade CS as an extremist. When you think of, and you were saying this earlier, Brian, when you think of the role of a trade CS and how sensitive and how much diplomatic relationships are necessary to make trade deals and things like that. So when ambassadors refuse to meet you, that's a disservice you've done to the country, courtesy of just your speech.
Yeah,
right?
so what people need to know is that since the beginning of time, trade was a form of respect to the person you're exchanging with. It meant that we are in good terms. It means that it means that I trust whatever you're bringing to my end.
Yeah.
Now, you need to know that in their diplomatic efforts to improve trade across East Africa, Kenya has been known to be the Silicon Valley. It's that's according to the ambassador Meg Whitman. She's actually labeled Kenya as like the conduit pipe into East Africa. And now trade is one of the forms in which people establish that we want to create proper relations with Kenya, and we now exchange even better. Now, what I'm not surprised about is Moses Kuria's how he talks, how he's spoken against the media, how he's spoken against people he does not pretty much like. And on the political front, I feel like he's not the politician that he should be. I know he's been a politician over years, but I believe that with his new position, he's more of should be more of a statesman because of the trade.
Technocrat, actually.
Technocrat, because of the kind of what we expect from him and what nations expect from him. The only thing that he's broken right now through his slurs are trust. Not so many people can trust him.
Yeah.
But to Kenyans, some Kenyans find him really fascinating and exciting. On the internet, he's really fascinating and exciting. But to the people he attacks outrightly, like personally, he's attacked me because I'm a journalist. And right before I joined Nation, he attacked this building. And not just the building, just the entity.
Yeah.
And it brought about a lot of exchange and this and that. But we've made a statement clearly to show that we are not going to let our journalists feel that way just because someone feels like they are above the law. Yeah.
Absolutely. And like I said, it's costing us because these are diplomatic relations, these are trade relations. But you can read that story and more in the Daily Nation, in the Taifa Leo, in the East African, in the Business Daily by subscribing to your e-paper. Just search e-paper either on App Store, Play Store, and you can do a deep dive on that. Also, lightly touching on a story about the hidden dangers of keeping drugs and alcohol at home. That's in the DN2 parenting segment of the Daily Nation. And data from a rehab center in Karen in Nairobi says that 30% of patients said they first tried drugs and alcohol at home. Of course, we'll discuss that a little bit more later. We'll get back into the music now. But for all those stories and more, subscribe to your e-paper. We've got Sia and Kendrick Lamar with The Greatest coming your way.